Hey everyone, welcome back. I am Lover's Lance.
And I'm Morik. Today we're traveling back to the roaring 20s, straight into the glittering shadows of prohibition, jazz, and romance. We're thrilled to be joined by the team behind Let's Misbehave, the writer Alli, the background artist Meg, and the sprite artist Skai.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Could you each of you briefly introduce yourselves and share how you became involved with Let's Misbehave?
All right, I guess I will go first. Thank you so much, Lovers Lens and Morik. We're so happy to be here. So I'm Alli. I guess I'm the main writer for the game. I'm the director. I'm the ideas person, narrative designer. I guess I'm just the one who kind of came up with the concept. And basically the idea for the game came to me quite a while back, because I just really enjoy the jazz age aesthetic. But it was when Voltage's Love Struck closed down and they had Speakeasy Tonight, which was my favorite 1920s Otome. And when that was gone, I just kind of decided that I wanted one of my own. So that's when I started kind of reaching out and recruiting others to make this vision come true.
So you're basically the one who started the whole project.
Yeah, the one with the ideas, the good and the bad. All of them.
Okay, I need to ask, which kind of jazz is your favorite jazz?
Oh, I love big band. That's always going to be my favorite. I love big band. I love ensembles. But I'm really partial to contemporary jazz too. So yeah.
It's pretty rare nowadays people to actually listen to jazz, honestly. I get judged a lot as well.
No judgment, no judgment. I had the most amazing time. Kind of in the middle of this, I managed to take a trip to New Orleans. And just the music scene over there was so amazing, kind of just literally, going to a jazz bar and just, sitting with a cocktail. Oh, that was such a fantastic experience. And I try to pour as much of it as I can into this game.
It sounds fantastic. Sounds fantastic.
But yeah, and so I think that's when I started reaching out to, my wonderful friends like Skai and Meg.
Okay, Meg, what about you?
Hiya. I'm Meg, as said before. I'm an illustrator from the UK. Me and Ali been friends for quite a long time now. Well, I think. I don't know. I don't count the years. And yeah, it came up in conversation that she was looking for a background artist. And I was like, hey, I've been looking to practice more of my environmental background art. So this would be really great. And so, yeah, I applied. It doesn't help that I am obsessed with everything from the 1920s and 30s, so that was just an added plus. The more she told me about the game, the more I was no, I have to get involved.
A nice bonus to it.
Mm-hmm.
So did you met because of the game or you met before that?
I don't remember how we met. I think we met
a while back.
Yeah, no, we met talking about
Ikemen Vampire.
Yeah, that was it. Ikemen Vampire and Ikemen Sengoku. That was it. So we met through Otome.
We just love historical Otome, as it turns out.
Otome, connecting people. That's so nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Skai?
So hi, I'm Skai. I am the illustrator for Let's Misbehave, and the way that I got into the project was honestly from another game I was working on Impolite Society with Alli and our friend Maria, who made the GUI for Let's Misbehave. And Alli was talking about like how she had an idea for something, and I was just like egging her on, like, do it. And like eventually she like had a whole mood board. She was like making like a fucking recruitment doc and things like that. And like I remember I even made like concept art of Angelo in the beginning, because it's like, you know, I'm into like the Mafia Man, the red flag Otome love interest, because of course. And
of course.
like, yeah, of course, absolutely. I like red flags in general, men or women.
I mean, red is a great color, to be honest.
Yeah,
red's my favorite color. What can I say?
Same, actually.
Little do they know, he's the greenest flag man in the game. Oh,
I made But like, actually, I made concept art of Angelo, and then like I didn't make concept art of anybody else. I just made concept art of Angelo. That was it. And then like Ali started like recruiting and stuff, and then like later on we met Meg and like everybody else from the team, and it's been great. It's been like wonderful. Yeah, I enjoy, working on the sprites for this thing. It's been very fun. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
And I just have to add one little thing for Skai, because they're really underplaying themselves, but their amazing talent is in fashion, and that is such an important part of this game. And their just, dedication and research to the fashion of the era has been fantastic. And part of that is also going to be, hopefully, we're going to have more outfits for our MC down the line. And I'm really excited about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just cannot, stop myself from treating sprites like a pit crew, to be honest. As I do that with every sprite that I make for every VN that I make. Like, I've done that for personal projects, and it's just fun. It's a pain in the ass to code and manage, but it's fun.
But the end result, I mean, when you look at the fancy dress character and the clothes in the game are amazing. We definitely return to that topic when you get to the art itself.
It's so cool to mix and match stuff too. But we can talk about later. Sorry.
It's like one of those games which we used to play as kids. Like you dress up the doll,
Yeah, we had these paper
I had a
dolls.
tomboy phase. And I was like, let's not play dress up. And now I'm 25 and I'm actually, I like fashion, actually.
Maturing is realizing that just enjoy what you enjoy. Don't try to gender it or...
100%. I still like the hard ass shit, but I also do really like girly shit.
You can
I
like
used to
both.
love those dress up dolls.
You can
They're
like
so
both.
good.
It's the balance.
Yes.
Honestly.
Okay, let's start with the premise of Let's Misbehave, which honestly immediately stood out to me. For those new to the game, can you give us a quick overview?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I kind of had to, I guess, summarize it, let's just say it's a little like the worst episode of The Bachelor you've seen. Because you have here a woman, young, divorced, and really in need of nothing. She has wealth, she has health, and she has status. And she is quite being approached by rather suspicious young men. But that's it. That's Let's Misbehave. We are here for the jazz age with all its ups and downs. And I just thought it would be really, really fun to have a game about, second chances, but also somebody that's got a renewed lease on life. And just kind of explore how a romance would work for that.
Yeah, for someone who's free to go down their own path, as you said, she doesn't need anything. She's just doing it because she wants to. Also, I love how shady all of the love interests are. We will get back to that.
Absolutely. We did have that little conversation about red flags earlier.
Yeah. Listen, she can be anything. She's young, she's divorced, she's got a lot of money. Why not date the suspicious man? Who cares?
Especially when their very shady smile comes up on screen. I'm like, yes, this one in particular would.
Smells like trouble.
Well, I'm so glad you guys picked up on that.
Yes.
Smells like trouble, smells like Axe body spray. We are not sponsored, by the way.
So we talked a little bit about the inspiration behind the story, and Alli mentioned that the jazz age, the music, everything, the charm of 1920s America is the inspiration behind the whole story. But I need to ask you, is there anything in particular that made you decide to write this story exactly in this setting? You could have done it sci-fi, I don't know.
Absolutely. No, there's a few things that kind of did, I guess, incentivize it. First is, of course, I really love history, and I really enjoy just historical fiction in general. So for me, it's always, I love to personally just work on historical works. And why 1920s America in particular, I guess, It's a couple of things, but overall, I would say it's kind of just really an homage to like our first modern era, our first era of, post-war optimism. And of course, the great strides that we did have in feminism. Of course, it's not a perfect era, it wasn't really an era of, I guess, I want to say equality and equity, but we were making progress, and it was definitely an era of optimism and glamour. And I think it's really hard to deny that even now people like are attracted to that aesthetic. And Meg and I, we often also bond about pre-code films, so films basically Hollywood films between 1929 and 1934. So that is also where we've drawn a lot of inspiration for this game as well.
Now that you mention it, when did actually was it called the housecoat? Or I know what you're talking about. That basically crippled storytelling in Hollywood for a while.
Yes, so it actually, I believe it was enforced, don't quote me, 1929 and 1930, but it took about 3 to 4 years before it really, really got enforced. So that's actually the pre-code era. There's a book that I always recommend, and I wish I could remember the actual name of the author, but it was published by Turner Classic Movies, and it's just about pre-code era and talking about the impact that cinema had on the American population at that point. Because obviously that's also along with the Great Depression. And even though our story is set before that, like similar to all media, just because the Great Depression happened, it's not like media changed overnight. The media still carried the hopes and aspirations of the people. So yeah, I could talk about all this forever.
You should talk about all this forever. It's very interesting stuff. Like, we're all history nuts here, I think.
Absolutely. And Skai, you went to film school too, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I went to film school for a year. I'm not exactly like...
That's a year more than me.
Fair enough.
I'm now very curious. What's all of your favorite time period, historic time period?
Don't make me pick one.
I'm making you pick one.
Well, maybe I can have a favorite at the moment, but I'm going to let Meg and Skai go first so that I can think about it.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like whenever I think about historical time periods, I always think about how it's always been shit for women. So I'm going to say now, because even if it's shit for women right now as well, it's like at least we have advanced healthcare.
Fair enough. I mean,
a good
yes.
point. A good point.
At least it's not Victorian era where your chances of dying in a hospital were higher than out of it.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna count my blessings right now because I always remember that it's always been worse.
Meg, what about you?
For me, I'm really, apart from I think the 1920s is like as modern as it gets for me, and then everything before that, I'm really interested in more ancient history. So ancient Greece in particular, ancient Sumeria, things like that. Rome less so, but yeah, just culture around that time is really, really interesting to me. And apart from that, I don't know, I'm drawing a blank now.
So if we're doing an ancient Hellenistic era,
ancient discount.
Sign me up.
Yes, ancient discount.
Yeah. One day maybe.
Yeah, sign me up for any kind of game where I can draw beautiful women. Men too are fine, but like women, I like drawing women more. So.
Quick fun fact, there are ancient Roman ruins a bit outside my house right now.
Oh my god, you're living the dream.
Awesome.
That's cool.
I live in Bulgaria, well, we both do, and the Romans just kind of left things behind.
Yeah, many such incidents. They happen to do that.
Yeah, they do.
I have a highway. Yeah,
they leave
I have
their
a
stuff
highway. It's
everywhere.
not as amazing, to be honest. I just have a highway.
Well,
but
this is something.
When we're talking about ancients and Romans and stuff like that, last week I was in Croatia and I was in this town called Split. Very funny name. But in Split there's this enormous palace of the Emperor Diocletian. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name.
Yes. His Diocletian's because that's right. He was based in Split. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So I went there in this palace and I was just wow, just like a kid in a candy shop, just looking around and thinking about this. How did they manage to build something that stayed that much time? And currently people were trying to make one road and it's full with holes and stuff. Can't do
Rolling
anything.
concrete is absolutely one of the most amazing things that has ever been made by man, and I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah, I've been there as well to the palace in Split. It is really cool. It's really cool to see reenactments there as well. Wasn't the trick to Roman concrete seawater?
I have not looked into that. I probably should. So you're just adding another thing for me to go on a deep dive on. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Hey, we didn't hear about your favorite time period.
So for me, and again, it changes quite a bit. Recently, though, I've been kind of doing a deep dive in Mughal Indian history, especially like the Great Mughals. So we're talking about like late 1500s to early 1700s. It's just been a fascinating, period of change. Whenever I study about that, it's really interesting to see, I guess, influences all the way from Persia to Persia, Central Asia, and then just Indian culture all coming into a mix. It's absolutely fascinating to me. And of course, all the architecture like the Taj Mahal and everything. I've been absolutely going on a deep dive with history and lineage of the royals for whatever reason. So yeah, that's my latest fascination.
That's actually something I know nothing about.
I'd be happy to talk off your head at any
Please
other time. So just just hit me up.
Maybe in your next
Maybe a
game
different
you
time.
can set it there.
Exactly.
I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna say that mine was 65 million years ago. That's the Cretaceous.
I mean, it's absolutely fascinating to all of us. You have an audience.
One of my classmates, when they found out that I was born in 1999, they called me a dinosaur.
No, that's definitely not dinosaur.
Morig, what's your
these
favorite
kids.
Cretaceous? What's your favorite
Here we
Cretaceous
go.
creature?
Here we go.
I told you
Favorite
you had an audience.
Cretaceous dinosaur? I didn't hear the question well.
What's your favorite Cretaceous creature?
The Ankylosaurus.
Yes, it's so good.
It's like a walk. Nature made a tank.
Mhm.
Nature just decided to make a tank.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
They are beautiful.
Guys, if we continue
but we-
talking about dinosaurs,
Yes, we
we'll
need
never
to talk about
Let's
the game.
Misbehave. Yeah.
But lizards are cool. Well, they're chickens, actually. Wait.
Yes.
Yeah, they are cool,
Okay, so-
honestly.
Dinosaur Otome when?
Yes, when?
Oh,
Dinosaur Otome now?
I think
Are
we
we
can
gonna
make it
make it?
happen. I think we can make it happen. Let's go.
Okay, we really need to get back on tracks though. So we're moving on to the art and visuals. Honestly, they're stunning. It's set so it sets the stage for this whole world: smoky clubs, hidden speakeasies, city streets at night. What was your artistic process in creating the backgrounds, Meg?
So first I think about where it's actually set, and I work with Alli and the others to do a little world building. So to think about what the city's actually like, where would it make sense for a speakeasy to actually be set up. So for our club background, I was thinking for it to be set in a closed theatre. So from the outside, the windows are boarded up, it looks abandoned, especially, during the day. And then at night, you've got the guests being led through the narrow staff access entry door that will be going under the stage and into the back of the rooms. If anyone does take a peek in the windows, all they would see is dusty, unused side rooms. To actually access it, they'd have to use the staff access to get into the ballroom itself. So yeah, after thinking about how I want that to actually, work inside this world, it's looking over photography, period illustrations, looking at everything from architecture, furniture, curtains, light fixtures, literally everything, and figuring out how Art Nouveau and Art Deco kind of works and what I want things to actually look like. After that, I do kind of the messiest sketches known to man. figure out the perspective that I want the scene set from. I usually do like 5 different sketches trying to figure out where I want the perspective to actually go. Then I ink it and get the other's opinion, and then I do 3 versions of color to figure out the best option, and go from there.
Okay, I was actually now... Yeah, go ahead.
Were there any particular real-world references or inspirations you lead on when designing the settings?
Yeah, so when I you'll see the sketches a little bit, or well, sketch a little bit later for one of the city streets that I've been doing, but I take a lot of inspiration from 20s New York in particular. In terms of like old illustrators and stuff, I look at Alphonse Much's work quite a lot. He was like, the Art Nouveau king of illustration, basically, king of drapery.
We both love Art Nouveau here. Me and Meg, absolutely.
I have to look that up now.
Yeah, his work is so beautiful. And Ali mentioned earlier, but films are such a massive inspiration. Like, for me, I think what started it off was actually Some Like It Hot, which, even though it wasn't actually made in the 20s, it was made in the 50s. It has it's got such an amazing 20s period feel that's kind of what started it all off for me. And that's when I started doing like research into pre-code movies and any movies from the 20s to the 40s, basically. We sort of do like a movie club where we watch these pre-code movies together and then pick them apart and like see what characters kind of could inspire our characters and what scenery could inspire particular scenery, stuff like that. So yeah, it's really great. And sorry, one more inspiration. I'm also a really massive fan of the Lackadaisy comics, so like reading them when I was younger was such a huge inspiration for me. If you're not familiar with them, definitely look them up because Tracy Butler is amazing.
Wait, they're comics? I thought it was a indie show.
It is. It started off as a comic.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They were. It was a comic going for like, I don't know, 10 years. I think from when I was a teenager, something like that. It was going for a really, really long time, and then it got made into the indie show that it is, and it's great.
Okay, now that I guess I have more content to look up now.
Definitely.
In my free time. So you actually go out to get... you actually watched movies from the pre-code era to get inspiration for the designs. That's quite cool. When did actually movies start having sound now? I'm curious.
7.
1927.
The Jazz Singer is the first movie that's... Well, I mean, there was some before, but honestly, just, for the sake of convenience, 1927, The Jazz Singer.
Mm-hmm.
So, the movies set in the same time during the game would have been silent films.
I think none of us knew which one of us to answer. I guess.
Sorry,
I
just gotta go on mute. Because I keep on using the space bar, sorry. And then I forget that when I let go, it... Go on, though.
But yeah, around the same time, they would have been watching like silent movies.
Absolutely, or actually early talkies as well. But I do always want to say that when you're looking at, like, for example, in 1928, you still have silent films, but they're really phased out by the time the 1930s come in. But also early talkies, if you watch them, they're very... It almost seems like someone's just trying to put on a stage play. So like your camera angles, your editing, your camera angles are like always way out. The acting's a little bit stilted. It's really fascinating, to be honest. But you gotta really, really love movies to be really enjoying them, I think.
It's like everything has its own charm, especially when you've gotta look at it and consider what it was during its own time period, and everyone's exaggerated movements as they act is just you gotta love it,
I do find that quite interesting. But to move on to the character design, so earlier we mentioned dresses and suits and in general, what's the word now? I keep forgetting it.
Fashion.
Fashion, yes, thank you. And now's the time to talk about that. Sky, your characters are beautifully designed, very fashionable. Could you tell us more about that?
I'm gonna be honest. I just spend an abnormal amount of time browsing Pinterest. Like that's pretty much it. I adore fashion. I adore it. Though mostly I really lean more into contemporary fashion because like I like contemporary fiction. I like drawing stuff that's like going on right now, and maybe even cyberpunk. Actually, I really like cyberpunk fashion. But the thing about fashion is that like no matter what era, I just love clothes. You know, and if I get the chance to research on an era with like the different clothes from like what I usually draw, then like I'm so down because like it's awesome. Like I love drawing clothes. I love drawing women. And I love dresses. I love a challenge. I love drawing patterns even, actually. Patterns are really, really fun to draw. Like, most people hate doing it, but, like, I like doing it.
No, I
Like,
love patterns as well. I don't draw, but I love looking at them.
I
I
like
like
wearing
doing them.
patterns.
Yes, agreed. Look, it's like, I don't know, because the thing about patterns is that it just gives, like, it brings out so much personality to a character. And when you think about somebody in real life, right? People wear pattern clothing all the time, so I find it a little bit weird when you see. I mean, I get why. I get why. Because, like, it's kind of a pain, right? But, like, I find it a little bit weird to see whenever, you know, I see character designs where people are, like, characters are dressed in plain clothes with no, like, you know, just
Personality.
solid colors. Yeah, they're just, like, solid colors. And I'm like, it's cute and all, but, like, you know, most clothes have prints. Like, most of my clothes, my t-shirts and everything, they have prints. And, like, I didn't choose them. Like, some of them are hand-me-downs. And it's, like, it just is the way that it is. So I'm just, like, I feel like it's just more realistic to have those patterns. Especially in something like this. And especially for like, a character like Gilda, who, she's filthy, stinking rich. Like, I mean, her clothes should have, like, a level of opulence that, like, most people don't necessarily have. So I go a little bit like, okay, I mean I'm not gonna go overboard, obviously, to make it like hurtful to the eyes or whatever, but like I'll find a way basically.
So I need to ask you, were there any characters that challenge you the most to design, either because of their personality or style?
Well, honestly, the men. Me, Otome game like sprite artist, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't like drawing men actually. When most of the love interests are men. Like, I just like drawing women. Hire me for a Yuri game, please. I'll deliver, I promise.
But it's also true that the fashion of this era is quite limiting for men as well. I mean,
yeah.
it's at
But,
least
like,
there's
they're in
something,
suits,
but
you know, like I find a way to like give them pinstripes or whatever, or just really anything at all, or just I don't know, like the colors, like base it on the colors. But like at the end of the day, you know, there's only so much you can do. But I try my best.
I feel like that's true as well nowadays, because if you go to an official thing, anything, men always dressed in some variety of suits, most likely black. If you're feeling experimental, maybe another color. But women have more choices because they can also choose to dress like men, while men don't get that choice.
They should.
Honestly,
we
they
should have
should.
more
Honestly,
we're here to
men
shake things
wearing
up.
dresses.
honestly, the preferred piece of clothing that my boyfriend wear is a skirt because it's so easy.
Because skirts are comfortable.
yeah,
No, they are.
absolutely.
I keep
Yeah.
telling.
I love them.
Listen, you guys. Harry Styles had it going. You know, he knew.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's stylish. Like, I like it. It's actually manly. Like, men in historical times before they used to wear dresses and skirts and stuff. Why did we decided to forget that? Honestly,
The
it's sexy.
Scottish have it right.
Yeah,
I was just
don't
gonna say,
know.
trying
to bring back
I mean,
kilts.
it's gonna
We
be
gotta bring
better
back kilt.
for them too. Like, you just like more movable. Like, yeah, it's just more movable. You know, like I've been telling my boyfriend to like maybe wear a skirt sometime, please. He hasn't done it yet, but he will eventually because he listens to everything I say.
Get him a kilt.
Good shit. Good shit.
Okay, so let's move on to characters, starting with the love interests. They all feel so very different from one another. Could you walk us through what unites them as potential partners for Gilda?
So
Well, they're
I'm
all
gonna
red
have.
flags.
I knew she was. I knew they were gonna say that. I knew they were gonna say that. I was gonna give kind of like a cop out answer, like a cheat answer, because they definitely have some common traits. We just cannot reveal them yet.
That sounds mysterious.
They're all suspicious young men.
They're all
Yeah,
suspicious young men. Okay, fair
yeah.
enough.
There's that, and there's a few more things, but yeah, unfortunately,
And I guess they're
because of
supposed to be hot because we're trying to sell this to an audience. It's for free, but like just we need an audience. We need people to be frothing over the mouth over this boy. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, we have Angelo fan number 1 and Angelo fan number 2 in the house, so
Meg, who's number
Clearly.
1? Who's number 2?
I'm obviously number 1. Okay, let's not get it twisted.
Okay, no, all right. You know what? Meg can be number 1 because I'm shorter. That's what happens when you're shorter.
Yes.
That's how the hierarchy works.
no.
I have age and height on my side.
That's true. Meg is my senior, and that's true. Senpai. I
Yep,
can.
Okay, and what about the protagonist Gilda? She's adventurous, witty, and even a bit unconventional as a divorcee in 1920s. What mattered most to you in shaping her voice as a heroine, and how did you carry the spark into the way she's drawn and presented?
So one thing is she's actually basically a tribute to 2 pre-code female leads that I have really, really admired and enjoyed. So the first one is Laura Hart from Night Nurse, that for her last name is Hart. And the first one is actually... Okay, so in the movie, her name it's spelled the same, but they call her Gilda. So Gilda Farrell from Design for Living. That's another pre-code movie and fantastic movie. So really, she's kind of like she is basically just a tribute to both of them. That's why her name is Gilda Hart.
And then me and Ali got into a fight over whether her name should be pronounced Gilda or Gilda, because I was like, if it's Gilda, it's from the Gilded Age, where everything is gilded in gold. It should be Gilda. And we took a vote on it, and I think we all
This
settled
is
on
the
Gilda in
GIF
the end.
versus GIF debate again.
Pretty
It
much.
really is. It really is. But I don't know why the character in the movie, they call her Gilda every time. And I was like, well, I think we should just be authentic. And then everyone else was like, girl, please.
Exactly.
But, so that was really important. And, the other thing is that she's still quite young. She's only 24, but she's really kind of, speed ran like many other women of her age in the time, a wedding, setting up a quote unquote household of her own, and then deciding that didn't really work out for her. So she also just said goodbye to all of that. She's not a flapper. She's not really that like out there. She's not that reckless and modern, but she's not, if you read like The Great Gatsby, she's not exactly Daisy Buchanan either. So what was really, really important for me, and like the most important thing about her in general, is that she's basically trying to be her own person rather than what others expect her to be. And I think with that in mind, that's really helped like develop her from, visuals to voice.
I do really
Okay,
love like the visual references that Ali gave me, because it really just... I love drawing Gilda. They know this. I love drawing Gilda. I would have like way more clothes drawn for her if we had like more time and life didn't get in the way, but I do love drawing her. She's wonderful.
You both did amazing job on bringing that character to life. And honestly, I adore that kind of characters. They're strong, kind of independent, does what they want. And even though it's like the whole setting is long before our modern ages now, she feels like a modern woman, even though you're saying she's not. That's how I felt when I played.
Well, I'm so glad that came through.
It did, definitely.
And about the love interest, let's start with Nils. He's calm, diplomatic, but there's always this question of what he's thinking. What inspired that mix of poison, mystery in him?
So first of all, I think, and I'm gonna keep the story very, very brief. A lot of this inspiration actually came from a real life figure, Dorothy DeFrasso. So Dorothy DeFrasso, she got married to, I believe it was an Italian count. So she was an American heiress. She got married to an Italian count. Then she ended up divorcing him. And then she had an affair with an American movie actor. Actually, that was probably during the wedding. Yikes! But you know, and so she had an affair with an American actor, the one and only Gary Cooper. And then she was pretty cozy with a, let's just say that he's a businessman of dubious businesses. Bugsy Siegel, so a pretty known gangster. So you can kind of see how we're getting to these love interests, I'm sure.
Yeah, I kind of almost identified each and every one of them just by this.
Exactly. So Dorothy was kind of like, when I first read about her, I was like, okay, this sounds like it should be a game. But rather than, you know, actually taking inspiration from her life, I was like, well, what if we kind of had these like characters? So especially for Nils, like, you know, he's pretty debonair, he's elegant. But also, like, it's not, he doesn't necessarily easily belong in the 1920s. Like, he could be, you know, from, like, you know, like, Fin de siècle Paris. He could be from, like, you know, just end of the era Victorian. So he has that sort of, like, otherworldliness about him. And I think that really kind of keeps that mystery for him.
Also, that's why he felt like a face spirit.
You know, like that's great. That's great, actually. I'm just imagining Nils with like a 1,000-yard stare, and then like a thought bubble popping up, and it's that like shot of the milk spilling in Patrick's head. Sometimes I imagine that.
Well, you know, he does say some really funny things at times.
No, yeah,
and
exactly.
we're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. That's why I'm like, huh. I don't know. That seemed kind of fitting. That seemed like kind of the vibe. I'm not sure why, but it was the vibe.
So I noticed that you like to talk about Angelo a lot. And now is the time that we can talk about him a lot. So he feels like an ambitious social climber, full of charm, but also a touch reckless. How did you balance his persuasive energy with the risk of him being too much for Gilda? And what touches in his design help capture that flashy, larger-than-life side of him?
I think I'm actually going to ask Meg and Skai to talk about him, because I feel like they would really enjoy that.
Okay, listen, all right? I told Alli the other day in chat that, like, before I date Angelo, I gotta, like, kick him in the balls. Like, it's a non-negotiable. Like, this man needs that. This man needs that CBT. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think we talk about him a lot just because he is mine and Skai's favorite in particular. I think Nils is Alli's favorite.
Listen, I don't pick favorites between my children.
Right. Okay.
Wait, Rory needs some love. Hold on. No, but like me in particular, I just really like crime, and do not like. That doesn't mean you should put me on a watch list. I'm just
I was
saying.
gonna ask, does that mean you commit crime?
No.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know,
no,
actually.
The biggest
No.
thing. The biggest thing about Angelo is that despite him, he's kind of, he taps into the cliche a bit of he's the bad boy. He belongs to, you know, the other side of the tracks, but he is the softest man inside. He is the sweetest. He's the kindest.
Okay.
And
I
he
do love
delivers
that.
it all with, you know, that level of snark that we love
It's
from
the gap
characters.
moe. It's the gap moe.
It's the gap moe.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's absolutely the
It's
gap.
the gap moe.
Mhm,
That's the
mhm.
appeal. Although I don't know, something's wrong with me. I like it too when they're just like absolutely irredeemable. I'm sorry, but like they can be redeemable or irredeemable. I just need that edge. Okay, I listen to punk rock, so it is what it is. That's what I grew up
Right.
on.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you listen to lyrics like that in your formative years and you're like, oh, I have a problem, like years down the line, because I am not attracted to normal people.
Speak for
Yeah.
yourself, buddy. No, I'm so happy. Yeah, no, Angelo's definitely one of those characters. It's kind of like, how Skai was saying that there is that appeal to him because, he's not above board necessarily. And Meg is like, he's the bad boy with a heart of gold. I don't really have much to add to that. He's definitely a really fun character to write for. And I definitely, rather than going too heavy into this game, his character does let me sort of explore like the people that didn't have it as great in the 1920s because, he is a son of Italian immigrants, so he is of Italian descent. In the 1920s, that's not a great thing in America. So you're really not treated, great. So I don't want to like dwell on too much on that in the game, and Angelo doesn't either. But I think his character also lets us kind of explore that a hint of the underside of 1920s American culture.
That explains a lot, honestly.
So I think it's nice because Gilda's wealthy, Roy has a certain level of wealth, Nils has a certain level of wealth. So Angelo is kind of the outlier here. And that kind of, it's just kind of nice to see.
Don't say that to him, though. He would be so hurt if you were trying to say that he's
Well,
less
of course.
wealthy than us.
I'm gonna be honest though, and like apart from my biases, like yes, personally I do really like Angelo, but like I also do think that he and Gilda have the best chemistry out of all of the love interests. She has good chemistry with everyone, but like I think she has the best chemistry with Angelo. Just my personal opinion. Like, if you ask me who I ship, like, if this was a show and I'm like, yeah, okay, like, I don't get to pick the love interest, like, I would ship them, actually.
Yeah, everyone put in your bets for this episode of The Bachelor.
Yeah, I was
exactly.
gonna say you described it well as the episode of how did you say it? The worst episode?
The worst episode of The Bachelor you've
Yeah,
ever seen,
worst.
absolutely.
Okay, well, there's one more bachelor left, and that's Roy. Hollywood's golden boy, charming and confident, but there's something intriguing about why he's sticking to Gilda. How did you shape his route and his look so that his glamour feels real? Well, real-ish. Honestly, kind of.
That's what I was going to say. Is anything real in Hollywood?
Yeah, actually.
He's Hollywood through and through, and so that is a lot of his, we get to delve into something else that's, I guess, less explored. I'm not going to say it's not explored. Of course, it is in other media, but it also lets us look into early cinema. It lets us look into these early Hollywood studios and sort of the absolute insanity they had with their contracts and things like that. So Roy is a product of this very sort of like foreign world. But I think what's really, really important to keep him authentic is to and we try to show that in our prologue, is his love for acting. We had to just ensure that that is what is authentic about him, and that's really what grounds him. That's sort of his compass. So, even though he's an Hollywood actor, he's out here doing stage plays and things like that. So, yeah, that's his grounding. That's his compass.
He's also a sweet baby boy. And we love
He
him.
is. He is.
Yeah, he was actually uncharacteristically sweet. Like, when I first read the story, I was like, oh, that's kind of nice.
I did enjoy teasing him when I first saw him.
As you should. As you should.
But
He
now
likes
I'm
that too, don't worry.
Oh, great. Though I'm now reminded that we mentioned it earlier, movies in that age were silent films, which had way more expression than films today, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not that far away from theater.
Not at all. And so that transition is quite easy. And I do think that that's why Roy does come off a little bit, how do I say, extra.
Hammy.
Hammy's a great word.
Hammy's great.
He is a little bit hammy, but understand he's a product of a very different world. And you can take the boy out of Hollywood, but can you really take Hollywood out of him?
Honestly, I love his character because I have a thing for actors in general, and I have a thing for theater and for musicals, and it just felt so good. Interacting with him.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I totally get it. I'm more of a musician girly, but I am very interested in Roy's route specifically because of that whole Hollywood focus, because I'm very interested in, like, mostly musicians, but like also actors that I see on the screen. I can be a bit parasocial sometimes, I can admit. So
We can call them artists, okay? I think
artists. The artists that we love for sure.
Yeah. So we're moving to the game design and features. I want to ask, what can players expect in terms of choices and branching routes and replay value in Let's Misbehave?
So we have quite a few, I guess, mechanisms that we are in the works that are implementing. So, for example, one is that, kind of very similar to other big label Japanese Otome games, the route that you end up on is based on the choices that you make in the prologue. So that's always fascinating to me, because sometimes it's nice to be able to choose, but sometimes it's really, as a creator, it's fun to it's fun to see how people's choices lead them down certain paths.
Yeah, I agree with that. I miss that, actually. I feel like I don't see that as often anymore. That's true.
Absolutely. And so, we're planning to have 2 major endings, which kind of seems reductive, but each ending, has significant plot associated with it. So each ending is going to have about 4 to 5 chapters in and of itself. And really the one thing I'm super duper excited for is to be able to have unlockable scenes and replays from the love interest perspective. That really gets me excited, and I am really looking forward to be able to writing those too.
I'm looking
that
forward.
Sounds interesting.
I'm looking forward to all of the doomed yaoi fan fiction that I can write of these characters. Thank you.
It's okay. I absolutely sponsor them. But yeah, I love it. A love interest perspective, because we've said, these men are a little bit shady. It's kind of really hard to know, exactly where they stand. But it's just so exciting, when you're doing a playthrough and then you see how fast and how hard they've fallen and at what point and how they're really feeling. I think that makes it super exciting.
For sure, yeah. I love seeing, the man's thoughts, because you don't see it in his face. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be very interesting. I'm excited for that as well. We'll be waiting. I'm moving on to the soundtrack. So the demo also features an original soundtrack that really captures the spirit of the jazz age. How did you decide on the musical direction, and what role does the OST play in the setting and the tone for the romance and drama?
Honestly, thank God for Pyre, our composer.
We love him.
We love him, because I was thinking, first of all, it was really difficult. So, we were working with some, just stock tracks, and we still have a couple that we're planning to replace. So in the end, the whole thing's going to be original OST, but I was like, maybe not everyone's gonna like jazz, so maybe we should do electro swing or something. And the pirate just came in and he was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It's gotta be jazz.
I was gonna say, you're playing a game. You're playing
oh, that's true. You're playing a game with jazz era, and you're saying, "What do you mean people won't like jazz?"
Yeah, exactly.
I had my doubts. But he really came in. He put his foot down. And he's like, "Let me show you what I can do," and I could not be any more just honored that he wanted to be there for us. We are lucky to have him through.
I scouted him. He's my friend, actually. In real life, the composer is my friend in real life. We make music together, and I went to high school with him, actually. So it's kind of I was part of Alli's team, and I DM'd him. I was like, "I'm in this game. You want to join?" And then he's like, "What's it gonna be about?" I'm like, "It's jazz stuff." And it's like, "Ooh, I'm interested in that."
You got him sold.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little bit conflicted at first because he, wasn't sure what to do. But it was a challenge, and it was a challenge that he was willing to, step up to. And I always knew he was gonna deliver. He always fucking delivers. He's the best. If Pierre ever listens to this podcast, I'm gonna say you are the best, man. But in call, on Discord in our personal chat, I'm gonna call him a fucking idiot because he always calls me an idiot. Yeah.
That's what friendship's about. But no,
We love
he
you,
is
Pear.
so.
We love
He's
you,
so-
Pear.
Okay, well, at
He's
Even
least
if
you
you
undoubtedly
have,
hate
talented.
me.
well, at least you have it eternalized in a podcast that's saying that he's the best. So that's something.
That's right. He can always come back
He
and
is the
replay
best.
it.
He is the best for sure. Like, okay, like jokes aside, he is the best. He's my best friend.
He definitely did a great job on writing the music for the game. I was jamming on it since the moment I started the demo. I was like, wow, that's actually quite good. Just vibing on
Finger
the
tapping.
menu music.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the main menu music is actually so, the game's title, Let's Misbehave, does come from a Cole Porter song from the era. And so the main menu music is actually a rearrangement of that track. And the moment I heard it, I was like, listen, if I could just loop this in my mind forever, I would do it. I'm so happy. But yeah, we're just putting this right here so that we can just hook everyone else that comes in to this game.
Yeah, I was actually like, sometimes when he was in call with me, we were just like talking and shit. He would stream the music that he was working on, and he would do like listening parties and stuff. And he actually has these like playlists, libraries of like music that he listens to take influence from. I don't really remember what was on it, but like some of them were from Alli, some of them he just found, and it's always really fascinating to see his process, like watch it live. Is he really fast? He is really fast. He just like puts notes down on FL Studios and I'm like, wow, that's magic. I don't know how you do that. I play guitar, but like it's different from like I'm a zoomer, but like I'm a boomer when it comes to like music production. So
Well, while we were on the topic of sound, let's talk about the voice acting, which honestly gives so much personality to the characters. Just the first time I hear each one of them speak, it's amazing. What was it like bringing the cast to life for you?
Oh gosh, well, first of all, thank you so much, because definitely the voice acting was something that I was most nervous about. But I'll be honest, so something that I really love, another media of this era, is actually the Japanese anime Bakano. That is probably my most favorite anime of all time. It is, just in case anyone doesn't know it, so it's set, I believe it's 1930 and 1932 in America. So I watched it a really long time ago, and the dub for that is one of the most fantastic things I've seen in my life. So I've had it just there, and it's always been there at the back of my mind. And then I was just thinking, if you have a game that's set in a particular time in history, which has so much of where the voices are so rich, it just felt like it'd be a wasted opportunity to not try to get people to voice it. And we are just so, I guess, fortunate to have found voice actors that shared our passion for the era, that really just wanted to go all into voicing these characters while also giving them that, that extra edge of authenticity. So yeah, I'm floored every time I get to hear their voice acting as well.
They somehow sound very authentic for the period as well. I don't know how to explain it really, but
They're expressive.
yes.
They're so expressive.
And really, a lot of this inspiration does come from the Bakano dub, which, because again, it's set in 1930s America, all the voice actors that they had in there, you can hear the differences in accent from the people that are from Chicago, the people that are from New York. And so we tried to have that energy with our project too, and I'm so glad that we got it.
I gotta commend the voice direction too. I mean, you guys did all that. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And Olivia, she actually stepped in to be our voice director for the prologue, and she was so nervous about it, but she did a fantastic job. And we actually were doing live recording sessions as well, which was super exciting.
Wow.
And
Okay.
just, to see and I think that really is part of the charm, because you get to see Gilda doing her back and forth with all these guys. And so they were recording these live. And I just think that helped the environment so much.
Yeah, it definitely helped. I can see the chemistry, the acting. When you actually have the person with you talking with you, it feels like a natural conversation. That's the thing.
Even when we were doing like the casting call and just hearing people's applications, and then when you get one that just sounds like that is exactly what our character should sound like, that's our guy. It's such an amazing feeling because it's like you've got these characters in your head and then suddenly the voice actor is what really brings them to life, you know?
Were there moments where you were split between choices during the casting call? Like, this guy sounds like it, but also this guy also sounds perfect.
Definitely. We had moments like that, Meg. And Meg is actually very, very good and very discerning because she has quite a bit of experience with audio work. So that helped us as well.
Well, limited experience. But,
I mean, it's good experience, though. And we actually had to go back and ask people to do second auditions. So we've definitely had that process when we've got back and forth. Or sometimes when, you know, a certain actor came in and did an audition for a different character, but when we heard them, we were like, I think you'd be better for this other character.
Yeah,
so then we just reached out back, you know, asked them to audition for the other one. And it was like, it was magical. It's magical when it just fits right.
And again, credit to Olivia for the casting direction as well, because
Absolutely.
without that, we would be pretty lost.
So it seems to me that you're all very talented and you're pouring your hearts in this project and your team is just amazing. So this game, Let's Misbehave, is a product of love and very, very specific kind of attention to detail, I would say. So the community response so far has been glowing. Understandably, it's an amazing project. And how has player feedback shaped your approach to the upcoming content?
So we're honestly, you know, the enthusiasm has been so motivating. We're so honored. And like you said, this really is just a labor of love. And it's humbling and it's really like overwhelming in a way, good way, of course, that people are so enthusiastic about this project. But, you know, real life happens. So the development time gets stretched and, you know, but we were so happy that people enjoyed this world that we created that for this past Otome Jam, we actually created another game. So, and it's called Miss Bellevue, Never Heard the Whistle. And it's actually another 1920s. It isn't ultimately, it just has one love interest and it has a new set of characters and it's a murder mystery set on a train. So then that's really, that game happened because we understood that, you know, people really enjoyed the world that we created. Even though Let's Misbehave is going on in the background, we wanted to be able to expand this world, so bring in some new characters. Meg and Skai were also involved in that. Yeah, that I think has been the biggest thing. We actually literally created another game in the same universe.
The description reminds me a lot of Murder at the Orient Express, actually. Is that...
Absolutely, yeah, that was one of our many inspirations.
I love that story. I love that story.
It is great. The movie was meh, but the story's great.
Yeah, there's been quite a few meh. I mean, like even the 80s version was pretty meh too. But yeah, the book is a classic. We just love the whole idea of, you know, train travel. You know, for example, there's another book that I really like. It's actually a novella, but it's by Chloe Gong, and it's this is so embarrassing. I've just forgotten it. It's because there's like 2 duologies, and then this is the 5th book, and it's a novella. And it also is about a murder mystery on a train. So I think just that genre in general is really exciting. Not to quote Skai, but crime can be really fun in fiction. I will add that point.
It's true. It's true. I will stand by that. It's true.
So
I am
yeah,
not a psychopath, I promise.
But yeah, I'm just really happy that people enjoyed this, you know, slice of 1920s that we created, and it let us explore another genre as well.
The book is called The Last Violent Call.
Thank you. Because yes, these violent delights, our violent ends, and then last violent call. Thank you.
Yeah. But
and
yeah,
I would also like to say in Miss Bellevue, Meg did an amazing job on the sprites. I love it.
Thank you. And Skai did an amazing job on the UI as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we switched up roles for Bellevue. And yeah, it was a really good time.
You
It was
switch,
our baby.
This is where I say no plus usage, young como, no compliments from me. Just kidding, I'm kidding.
No. Well, okay, to be fair, this would never have happened if not for you. You literally are the backbone.
And I wasn't switching roles with anyone. But...
Yeah, you were not. You were you were just writing. You were writing great. Like,
no, absolutely. Thank you.
For the record, Alli, your writing was amazing. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
it's so
good. Like, they're so cute. Like, Juliet and Piper are so adorable.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Bellevue takes place, I think, a couple years before Let's Misbehave.
Yes, 5 years actually, 1923.
That was it. Yeah. And it is loosely connected. So I would not to toot our own horns, but I would recommend checking out that game as well if you haven't already.
Definitely going to check that one out. Sounds exciting. Okay, so question for Meg and Skai. What's it like to see players connect with your visuals, background, sprites, and character expressions?
Oh, it's amazing. When you are pouring so much love into this kind of thing, when you love what you're working on so much, to see other people love it too is just so validating, and it just makes you want to work on it even more and to keep going.
I'm gonna be honest, actually, like, I was very intimidated in the beginning because, like, this Let's Misbehave was the first time I actually did, like, sprite work for someone else, and at the time I was like, is my art really good enough for this? I don't know. When we started. Right now, definitely, I think that I've gotten a lot better. And I kind of want to redo some of the sprites, but, like, that scope knife that I don't know if we
a bit of a scope creep.
Yeah, it will be like a scope creep if I do that too. But, like, I'm kind of insane, so
why not?
Why not? If I have the time, why not, right? But, like, obviously, I mean, I'm very happy with how the sprites turned out, even if in the beginning I didn't have a lot of confidence in them, and it's nice to see. It's actually really nice to see them, like, in front of Meg's backgrounds. I was like, oh wow, like, the first time I saw it, they blend so well. This is amazing, actually. Like, I love Meg's backgrounds. I love the one specifically of the speakeasy. That one was like, oh, that's amazing.
But that was
like, I keep
nice,
staring
yes.
at I keep staring at it, actually. Yeah. And like, Gilda against that background is like, oh yeah, that blends so well. And it's nice to see that people connect with the art as it is, like, how everything is presented, because Alli was very particular, I guess. I mean, she gave us freedom, but, like, she was very particular about the kind of vibe that she wanted to bring from the start. And because she had that kind of attention to detail, we were able to follow her vision. And we were able to create something really, really cohesive together. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, Gilda in particular has my favorite sprite. She's so gorgeous.
I love her pattern dress.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. I designed that pattern.
Yeah.
That little shine it has, it feels so Art Deco. I think
yes. I love the little sparkly, shiny gold things.
Yes.
I did the UI for Miss Bellevue, and you can really see everything is shiny because I like it when things are shiny.
Yeah, but feeling the anxiety from, like, feeling the anxiety about, putting your work out there, especially when you haven't done it before. Like, that was the first time I was doing backgrounds on a game as well. So whenever you see that there's a new comment, you're like, oh my god, please be a good comment. So that anxiety is always going to be there. Yeah.
For sure. But it was your first time doing backgrounds too, Meg.
Yeah. But yeah, so it just makes it better when you get a comment that's so positive. So yeah, we love every comment that we get.
They were beautiful. They were absolutely beautiful. They still are. I don't know why I use past tense. They still are.
they still are, yes. They didn't go away. They didn't disappear.
I can say that the general art direction of Let's Misbehave is very unique. And the way the sprites are drawn and the backgrounds, that's not a thing that we see in Otome usually. So I enjoyed different things. And I loved everything you did. And thank you for your good work there.
Thank you so much. I mean, me in particular, I really like drawing faces, actually. I like drawing the expressions. So whenever people say that my art is, like, expressive, I always like, oh, that's nice. Because, I don't know. I feel like in a visual novel, right, specifically, you're limited in what you have to see. Like, there's not much really movement going on unless you like go ham on animations. But even then, right, it's a sprite that usually doesn't move, so you have to pack all of the punch into the expression. So they have to be really, really like they have to make you feel things because they have to, show the character feeling things the most. It's like one of the limitations of the visual novel medium. So I always try to put my all into making the expressions as vivid as possible. I think I could still do better though. But yeah.
It's always the way. Yeah, for background, it's like I have a background in animation. Whenever I would create a background, it's like you think about the setting, think about where it is, like what storytelling is going to be behind it. So you make sure every background has meaning behind it. So yeah, it's good to see that appreciated. Thank you so much.
So we've seen teasers of upcoming updates. What can each of you share about what's next for Let's Misbehave?
Ooh, that is such a good question. I feel like we've only just touched the tip of the iceberg as far as the plot. There is so much more coming up, like we've finished outlining the routes. There is just so much more coming up. It's going to go places. I know we've dropped some hints earlier. I know we shared a snippet of Angelo's route with you guys earlier, just kind of to show, how their dynamics are growing. But yeah, we're just really, really excited for everything that's coming up.
So we're going to talk about this little Angelo's route snippet in a bit, but in like a general direction, what's the plans for the future? Do you have plans for Steam or crowdfunding or extended demos and stuff like that?
So the intention for this game was always to be 100% free. That was our goal at the beginning, and it's always going to be that way. I would probably love to have this game on Steam once it's complete.
Mm-hmm.
It is quite a big undertaking, of course. Like we had talked about earlier, real life gets in the way of a lot of this. But everyone that's on this team, we really love this world that we've created, and we still want to go ahead and finish it. So as of right now, it's always going to be free no matter where it is, but I'd love to have it on Steam. And kind of depending how development's going, we are probably going to do extended demos, maybe show the beginning of each route for the love interests. I'm excited to be able to explore possibilities like that.
I sincerely hope that you manage to put it on Steam, because this game deserves all of the attention of the Otome players. It's so nice.
Thank you.
Very different than everything else that I've played before, and yeah, I hope for the best, and I hope that you manage to finish it.
We will do everything within our power to definitely try and finish this.
I believe in you guys.
We've been telling ourselves, we're putting other projects on hold. Well, I am personally. I'm telling myself that until I finish this one, I can't start anything else. So I've got myself in a deadline.
That's a nice way to motivate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we are moving to my favorite part of the podcast, is the exclusive content time. You sent me some stuff. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to comment on the stuff together, and you're going to explain me what's going on the different pieces of art or snippets of story that you sent me. First, we see my favorite cherry, I think, yeah?
Yes.
This
She
is
is our
the original.
everything.
This still needs revisions. I actually drew this. I'm pretty sure I drew Cherry before I drew the other love interests, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes. This was kind of our first sneak peek of Cherry. This was the first time we got to see her. She is obviously a dev team favorite.
Yeah.
And so we just wanted to be able to share this over here before anywhere else.
Oh, so exciting.
I still need to do some revisions on her sprite, but I very much I actually drew her before I drew any of the love interests, because like I said earlier, I like drawing women, and I was like, why are there no women yet? I need to draw another woman.
Honestly, that's exactly how I imagined her, by the way.
Yeah,
That
same
is
for all
fantastic
of
to
us.
hear.
Yeah, I'm glad that the vibes have been captured, because it's we did have a chibi of her made, so I guess there's that. So I had that as a basis, but I'm glad that the vibes translate. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with this spread actually. I like doing the painterly stuff for Let's Misbehave. I think I've gotten better at it by now. I mean, it's been 2 years, so. But like, yeah, seeing this as a starting point is like, I'm not ashamed of it. Of course, it's very nice. I still think it holds up like 2 years later. Yeah.
Definitely. And also, Cherry is such a nice character. I loved her boss girl energy everywhere.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl bosses. I always say, because I invented that saying. I did not. But, you know.
No, absolutely. Cherry is a firecracker. She's a fantastic character. We're so happy, to have her. We really do love her though, yeah. And
Like,
so it was really nice to kind of,
did we
have
joke
putting the
about,
visuals.
like, did we joke about having a cherry route? I was
Yeah, hold
so
up.
down for it. I was so down for it, but like we had to still
Okay.
play.
We will definitely touch on that later.
I honestly have to say that I deeply resonated with her because my personality as a person talking to my friends is just like that, like being protective and all, but being actually very rude to everyone else. So
Honestly, you do have that energy, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
I was gonna say it's nice when you have to like work for someone's respect. The respect should be like, earned.
She's the
So-
queen. I love that it's like, overall, it is her club. And you cannot forget that this is her club. She is the boss. Yeah, no, she's iconic. And shout out to RBA for Cherry as well, who's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Jenna loves Cherry.
Yes.
So
I mean,
Jenna
who
really
does, okay,
puts
to be
their
fair,
all
who
into it.
doesn't? Who doesn't? I'm
That's
gonna be
true,
honest.
that's
Like,
true.
you can call like Angelo the boo boo bear of the team, but like really, it's Cherry. Cherry's our boo boo bear. She's the best. Like,
This is true.
It's very, very true.
Everybody loves her. There's like no contest here. Like, if you had to ask me who I would choose over Angelo and Cherry, I choose Cherry. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I gotta kick Angelo in the
It was
balls.
like both of them are drowning and you only have one arm. Sorry, Angela, it was nice knowing you.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Maybe this is why I'm Angelo fan number 2.
Yeah, that explains it. It's just the first place is for Cherry. That's it. In your heart, that's only one first place, and it's Cherry's. And what are we seeing here? What is this?
This is when I said messiest sketches known to man, I really meant it. There, it is messy as hell. So this is a concept for one of the side streets that I had going. So I mentioned earlier that New York was a big inspiration for how I wanted the streets to look. In my head, the city is kind of like a cross between New York, Chicago, and California. But this street in particular is definitely more New York inspired. So yeah, even though I don't really know anything about cars, I love the designs for cars during this time period. So I was like, I really want to get some on the street. So yeah, I got some in there. If you look in the background at the archway and the big sign hanging off, that's kind of what I thought might be the closed entrance to the theatre. So that might be where the speakeasy actually is located. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's just a regular side street with like a cute little sandwich shop, and I don't know, I've got a florist there, but I'm thinking I'll probably change it to something else. I was like, I don't know.
I like
When I
the
don't know what
idea
to
for
draw,
flowers.
are my default. So I was like, let's just draw a
People
bunch of
always do
flowers.
flowers.
Flowers
That's okay.
are fun. I love drawing flowers. Like, have you seen me? I keep drawing flowers on everything, May. Come on.
Yeah.
I love the little car. It's so cute. Like,
Yeah. But yeah. So we need to
so such a
figure out.
vibe.
Mhm.
It's such a vibe. This whole street that you made, even though it's a rough outline, I just can't wait to see it finished.
Oh,
Really.
Thank you.
And we have Gilda here.
A queen.
oh yeah,
The queen
this is like
or
our house
everything.
code. Yeah, this is our house code. I had this like drafted up because like Ali said that in the beginning, Ali said that like she wanted to have Gilda in a house coat in the beginning of the VN, but I don't think we ended up using it. So far, we're gonna use
We
it.
will.
Yeah,
We will.
eventually. But like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I did have this ready, and if you zoom in on the image, like, you'll see the patterns that I drew, and I just love drawing patterns so much. Like,
Ooh.
yeah, like I like doing that stuff, you know, like I just
I mean, we will
yeah.
absolutely be using this, but I'm just gonna be like, cough, post spicy scenes, cough,
Earlier I was joking about like how I was like, what if I drew fan service for this like exclusive content like session?
That
And I
would
was
be
like,
nice. It would be
I
nice.
I could have, but like I had a doctor's
Next time.
appointment earlier, so maybe next time, yeah.
Next time. When you finish the game, we're making another episode and you're doing all of the fan service you want. By the way,
me writing my BL manifesto.
I think that you should make a fashion brand because I really love this piece of clothing and I would wear it. I would wear it at home. I would wear it outside. I would just wear it. So
Wow,
maybe
thank
maybe
you.
please make a
I
fashion
agree.
brand. I would love to wear something like that. It's so
I don't know how to
looks so
get started on
cozy.
that, but like, yeah, you know, I'm not a very like I just draw stuff. Like I don't sew or anything, but like, there's always time to learn, I guess.
Your
There's always
teammates said
room.
that you can do everything, so I believe that you can start a fashion
Well, I
brand
can't
as
Exactly.
sew. I do everything digitally. Like I'm a nerd.
We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, you know. No, honestly, that is one of my regrets. Like, I didn't go to fashion school. It's not like there's any, like... I do want to go to fashion school, I think, eventually.
It's
It's
next on your
never
list.
too late. It's never too late.
That's true. It is never too late. I could be 40 and I could still go to fashion school. That's true.
I opened here a little fun part of Angelo's fruit. Can you
Yes.
give me a summed up version?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's this basically just this is one of those scenes of where you just get to see their interaction, their back and forth. It's always fun, I think, whenever it comes to like Angel's route, because he does not hold back in his flirting. So, Gilda could say something absolutely normal, like, fancy seeing you here. And then Angela is just going to reply, I'd go to the ends of the earth and back for you. Like, first of all, sir, nobody asked. But
Yeah.
he's very, he doesn't hold back on his affections. And I think that's what makes his banter with Gilda a lot of fun, because she really knows how to just take it in her stride. So you'll see him, like, saying that. And then, but I think the really interesting thing about Angelo and Gilda is that he's very perceptive as well of her emotions. So she just kind of holds back. Angelo's just like, hold up, did I do something wrong? Like, was it because I didn't say please? Do you want me to say please? I always
I was
just really
reading
enjoy.
that. Yeah.
So I just wanted to show that because that's, what's one of the roots that we've been working on more. And we have 2 Angelo fans in the room with us.
Mhm.
So Angelo
You
and
can
Gilda,
count
their
me
banter.
in as well.
Okay, well that makes that makes 4 of us.
Yeah.
But their banter is obviously a one that we really enjoy, and that's kind of just a little snippet. He really doesn't hold back. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
We love that. We love a man who
Mhm.
can say words.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love a man who can say words. I love
Except for
that.
when he's Nils, and then he says very random things, and you're just like, wait a minute, what
And
did you
then-
say that for?
And then you're like, please
it's
stop saying
again, it's like
words.
the spilled milk, from Patrick's mind. It's that energy.
Trying his best. But yeah, I think Angel's energy is like distinctly different from like Roy's energy. Both of them are quite flirtatious, but it's Angelo's flirtation is a lot more like he's very Romeo. He's very like lover boy. Roy, I think he wishes he was that, but he ends up being very much like
The kids would call it the Rizzler.
There you have it.
Roy the Rizzler. You know
Your
what? I
boy,
can't say
the
no.
Rizzler.
Can't say no. Yeah, so that was just a little sneak preview of them just kind of, getting closer.
Yeah, so nice sharing that. It's exciting. Like, I actually managed to read it. And it's definitely really fun back and forth, as you said. So before we wrap up, what do you each hope players take away from Let's Misbehave beyond the 1920s glamour and romance?
I would love my team to go first. That's okay.
Skai, you want to go?
I was not prepared for the question. Wait, hold on. I need to think. Hold on. 'cause I
Okay,
don't-
I'll go. I was just afraid that I was just gonna like ramble, but you know what? It's okay. I got this. I think what's really important for me is, beyond all the whole 1920s, the glamour and the glitz of this world that's like, filled with like temptation and everything. I think the core of it is actually just a journey of a young woman trying to find herself and understanding that, despite this being such a different world, like the characters are not that different from people that you would know. Their world is obviously a little bit different. Their circumstances a little bit different because we'd all love to have a friend like James, right? Who has pretty much unlimited wealth. Unfortunately, we don't.
Mhm.
But understanding that the characters are hopefully relatable in some level, understanding that their struggles are, struggles that we all face. But then if they manage to overcome it, I hope it can bring a little bit of, hope for everyone else.
That's said really nicely. Yeah, I think
Thank
ultimately
you.
for me, I think it's like I just want people to come away and feel like the characters that they've seen and the environments that they've seen all feels genuine, like there's a genuine connection there, and that everyone just bounces off each other really well. I want them to feel immersed in the story like we've all been sucked in.
The immersion is
Yeah,
absolutely
I
the
want
key.
them to be invested. A lot of the ends recently have just been. I mean, personally, for me, I prefer when things are a little bit slower paced. And a lot of the ends have been coming out recently have been very fast paced. And I really like that Let's Misbehave just lets you sift with everything, just gives you time to marinate in whatever Alli is cooking. And what Ali's cooking is always great, and
Thank you.
I just, I want people to come away seeing that there was a lot of love put into this project, and there was a lot of fun that we had making it. We a lot of friendships were formed through making this project as well, and we're gonna keep making projects with each other as long as we're free. So it's like I want people to see how much we love working on it. We love working on each other. We really love working on it with each other, and whatever Ollie's vision, I hope that we were able to deliver it, and the audience is able to see that as well, like that in the whole cohesive project that could, hopefully change someone's life to some degree. One of the reasons why I'm into this this community, right? One of the reasons why I love making VNs is because I found an Otome for free in 2009 that was really long and had branching paths, and I was like, that's so cool, I want to do that. And yeah, I hope maybe this could be somebody's awakening. Who knows, right?
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing this. And is there anything you'd like to say directly to your fans and supporters?
Something really, small. Well, thank you so much to everyone that has supported this game of ours. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for your feedback and your encouragement. It's just, I don't think words can properly convey how much that means to us.
We love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy everything else that we've had to make, for the future, and just bear with us. Real life happens.
Let's Misbehave is available now on itch.io, and if you love the Roaring Twenties, sizzling romance, and dangerous secrets, go check it out. Huge thanks to Alli, Meg, and Skai for joining us today. If you enjoyed the demo, leave a review, share it with a friend, and keep an eye out for updates. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, may your nights be dazzling, your secrets thrilling, and your heart swept away.